Well, good evening. I hope that you guys are having a great day, and thank y'all for tuning in to Teaching for the Culture. We had a debate that was scheduled for District 5, and both of the candidates are unable to be here. So, therefore, I've decided that we're going to open up the line and have a conversation. And so, I want to go ahead and post the link in the comments so that way you can add yourself to the conversation. And we want to talk about District 5, and we need to talk about how we need to pick the best persons for the seat. They're not debating, so let's have the conversation. I've opened the phone line, and I will go ahead and put that here. But the call-in number is 813-400-3311. And then also you can go to the link in the chat, so that way you can join the stream. Okay. Now, a couple things with the phone calls. If you do call in, I want to let you know that Facebook, the way that Facebook is set up, there is a delay. So if you do call in, please listen to your phone and not try to listen to Facebook or try to listen to yourself. There is a delay. So if you are going to call in to make sure that your voice is heard in the situation, please make sure that you're listening to your actual phone and not listening to the broadcast, because it's going to be some issues. So we got someone that has joined in on the live. So let's go ahead and add them in here. Hey, how are you doing? Hello? I can't hear you.
Hi, I'm Megan.
Hey, Megan. So, who you rocking with for District 5 and why?
I'm thinking Shake. When I worked at a school, he was what was he called? Like our area superintendent.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been in area 4 ever since I moved down here. So that's what I'm thinking. I wish they would have showed up tonight.
Yeah, I wish they would too. Shake Washington, he did email us and let us know that there was a conflict, and Tamara Schamberger never responded or RSVP. So it's unfortunate that we're not able to have a debate, but I am thankful that people like you could call in and let the people know who you're rocking with. So I definitely support that.
Yeah, I'm surprised more people aren't here.
Right. So
because we were watching last week on YouTube. So
yeah, more people need to come on in. We'll have Lynn Gray at 7 o'clock tonight, but I did change the event last minute due to the fact that they weren't able to be here. So I'm just taking questions and calls and talking about the tea. So I definitely appreciate you calling in and watching, and hopefully more people join to be intentional with who we're going to vote for in these seats, because they're important.
You want me to say something?
My husband has a question. He's also a teacher, so
Absolutely, go ahead.
Hi, Bianca. I would also be the one that I would recommend Shake to everybody that's out there. That I spent 6 years at Potter when I first moved down here, and he supported our school very well at that time. And I know that through conversations with him and meetings I've sat in, that he has teachers' backs, and he's going to do what's best for not only the teachers, but more importantly, the students. And every experience that I've had with him throughout those 6 years was nothing but positive. So I will endorse him and speak out and tell everybody that I know to go and vote for him, because I do know that he does have students and teachers' best interests in mind, and I'd love to see him on the board. That's really all that I have. I do have one other question for you, because we do watch every single board meeting. And currently I work at Lockhart Elementary, which again is in that same area. And I know that our representatives have been reaching out to the union, but you speak a lot about the cleaning supplies and everything out there that the district is currently using. And I do support you 100% with that. But we were able to graciously accept a donation from ServPro. which is the national brand that you see commercials on TV and everything about. They donated a 55-gallon drum of the product they use to sanitize nursing homes, hospitals, restaurants, all of those things. The name of the product is Vanquish. And they came out, they gave it to us. They told us they'd refill it the rest of the year as needed.
Wow.
But in doing that, we also had to reach out to the district, in which we got a response telling us that that product is banned and that we are not allowed to use it. So, and yes, that was my same reaction, because I have the same concerns about the products they're providing us. So if you wanted to, again, I can't get up there and speak more of it. I wish that I could, but I don't want to get in that same position of getting the repercussions that I've heard of others. But I do think that it's unfortunate that we have these hand sanitizing wipes to clean classrooms and everything, and we're being encouraged to use that. But at the same time, we have a 55-gallon drum of a product that a nationally known company uses, and we're being told, no, that's basically too good of a cleaner. They said that it's a danger for students. And I told them I'm willing to use it after students leave, give it 8-10 hours to air out. But the fact that this company was willing to give that to us and keep replenishing it as needed, I think that it's a little silly that we're not actually allowed to use it.
That is sad. And
it really is. And like I said, the fact that you spoke out about the cleaning products, because it is a little ridiculous with what they're given. And we do have people that have talked to the union, and they're in negotiations. So I don't want to overstep or, step on anybody's toes with where that's at. But we've had this product now for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and it's sitting in a storage closet right now, being told, because my principal is, and rightfully so, she's a little worried about using it because they told us, you can't use this. But in the end, if they're using it in hospitals and nursing homes, how dangerous is it that I'm not going to go in and spray down a classroom with students sitting in there? But at the end of the day, if we could use this to wipe things down instead of those 75% hand sanitizing wipes that they're encouraging us to use, it's just it's a little odd. And I know you are that voice supporting everybody. So if you want more information, or if you can somehow find a way to bring that up, I'd appreciate it, because I think that it needs to be put out there for people to know.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you mentioned it on the broadcast. So the people that are listening, I'm shocked just due to the fact that the hand sanitizer says keep out of reach of children, and it has reproductive risk. But neither here nor there. I guess this is for the safety of the children now all of a sudden. So
and that's where I'm at, that if it's really about the safety of everybody, what is that wrong with this product that is safe to use everywhere, that they put their stickers up saying, yes, this is clean and sanitized, but we don't want that in schools? That's just a little interesting to me.
Yeah, you're right. That's definitely, the whistle needs to be blown on that. And I appreciate you. So I appreciate both of you joining on to the broadcast, and the link is here. Make sure you tell your friends, share it on Facebook, and let the voice, let people hear your voice on who you're rocking for District 5. And so I'm hearing both of you guys are supporting Shake Washington, and thank you for supporting your candidate.
Absolutely.
Thank you for doing this.
Absolutely. Y'all have a great night.
All right, you too. We'll be back at 7.
All right. Yeah, because Landgrad needs some questions.
That's right. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So we got another person that's joined the stream, and this is actually a student. So let me go ahead and add him on here. Hey, Alexander, how are you doing?
Hey, Bianca, I am so excited that I'm finally getting the word out. The other day I was talking to Nadia Combs and Jessica Vaughn, and, it was for the Ruth list of Florida. And, we had the Honorable Betty Castor, mother of Congresswoman Kathy Castor, joining us. And, so I basically said that mental health is really important for our students. Reason being, like I said at the educational roundtable, mental health is so important with our students. We cannot force them, to do certain things. We have to do what's right for them. Meaning we, as a student in Hillsborough County and District 5, I must say now that, Tamara Schamberger has done a good job, but, Shake has definitely, definitely shake things up. I mean, that would be a great motto. He's working effortlessly. I loved how you spoke at the school board meeting. You definitely have inspired not only me as a student, but you also have inspired other candidates. And, like I said, at the roundtable, when I'm done with high school, in college, I'm going to run for school board. So it's always been a passion of mine. I'm good friends with some school board members. The other day, I was on a conference call, and it was with Nadia after we were done talking, and she's like, it is so surprisingly that you notice everything that goes on at a school board meeting. And I basically told her about an incident that occurred at a board meeting in which board member Schamberger and Stewart were taking pictures of their, heels. And I commented and I said, we should not be worrying about, fashion, but we should be worrying about the future of our students, because this is in your hands. This is very important for our students. This is not, all fun and games. A school board's job is to prepare our students for life and work with them and our administrators and guide them whatever it may be.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And you are a student. And so, with that being said, which candidate are you supporting with everything that you've been researching?
Based on my research, according to Teaching for the Culture, I think I am definitely going ahead, and I'm gonna decide with my family has already made their decision. We came up with this last night, and we decided that we're going with Henry Shake Washington for school board.
That's amazing.
And because Shake's expertise, his knowledge, he was a principal in our school district. He was an amazing leader. He's a down to earth person. A very warm and wonderful person. He's very loving to his students, and we need someone who is has the expertise and has the knowledge to say we're going to protect our students, not only from, the global health crisis in our hands, but also saying that we care about our students. And, the other day I was watching Cindy Stewart speaking about, Superintendent Davis, about how they were be talking about, I believe it was reopening of schools. It was like to vote on whether or not they would do 100% e-learning. And I was watching it, and, board member Stewart got extremely upset, considering the fact that they did not come up with, whatever it may be. I'm not going to get into that. But nonetheless, we have to worry about our student safety, our teacher safety. And what had me the most concerned is that I was watching the Tiger Bay Club Zoom meeting with Nadia, and she sent me a tweet, which I grew very concerned. It stated that we should stop protecting the adults, but worry about our students. And this was from incumbent Steve Kona. And that made me so upset. I was like, number one, why would he say something like that? His job is not only as an overseer of $3.3 billion, but he's the vice chairman of the school board. And he also, this is completely unacceptable. The school board's job is to make sure that students like us are going to go home and wake up in the morning and say, I did it. I finally achieved my goal. I finally graduated high school. I finally graduated elementary school, etc. Having said that, we have to work effortlessly, meaning we have to work together as a team and as a board. And with Shake on the board and with Nadia on the board and with Jessica on the board, there's going to be so many changes.
I love it. Well, I just appreciate you for hopping on to the live and sharing your opinion. And you are very invested into school board, and I love it. You are, a brilliant kid, and I'm just in awe, and I'm here to support you. So thank you so much for joining the broadcast, and I look forward to hearing you speak more about these issues.
Thank you so much, Bianca. It was my pleasure.
All right. So we got someone else that's joined the live. Let me go ahead and add them on here. Well, look at that. How you doing, Evelyn?
Hi there.
Man, look, it's one thing to be on the whole child together, but to be on this particular broadcast together, it just brings up so many memories back in November. How are you?
Almost a year ago. Isn't that something? I was reflecting yesterday about what this past year has looked like. And I've been juggling a whole bunch, and I almost forgot that this was happening. And then I logged on, and you're like, call in and join. I'm like, oh my gosh, I must. Because there is just so much to share. And I think that a lot of people were aware of my story and may not necessarily know how everything turned out. So I wanted to give a little update, but also share who I'm voting for.
Absolutely. I love to hear
it. So for any of you all that are watching, listening, or what have you, basically, very long story short, is that the incumbent, Tamara Schamberger, was super instrumental in making sure that I left Hillsborough County because she became very offended by me asking her why she had not come through on a promise that she made, was to visit our school that I was working at the time. And that situation led to newspaper articles being written about her and her bullying tactics and her lack of integrity. She really, as Bianca loves to say, with receipts, right? People lie, receipts don't. She tried to alter receipts and 22 pages of screenshots that I had in order to truly bring to the forefront what actually happened in the situation. So it was just a very disrespectful lie that she launched against me and had impact. And then after that, she continued doing things behind the scenes to launch further attacks, and even as recently as the past couple months. So one of the things that I know about her is that she does not have the power to control her fingers on the internet, and consistently launches unsubstantiated claims and lies. And really, Michelle Obama says, when they go low, we go high. That is not her philosophy in life at all. So she constantly engages in these tit for tat battles with people, and we've seen it unfold in various contexts and aspects. So for me, this District 5 race is really about character. And when I look at the two candidates, there is no comparison when you're talking about who has the moral character to truly sit in a position to be a role model for our students and to create policy and really speak up for our teachers. And one thing I know about Shake is that his kindness gets taken for weakness a lot. And I think we have to be very cautious about that we don't put someone on a pedestal because we feel like, oh, they're speaking up in a manner that is divisive and just all out lies. Whereas with Shake, he always respects the person, right? So even when you don't agree with people, there is still a level of respect that you give, and Shake operates that way with just a base level of respect for people. And so many of the things that have happened over the course of the past year would just never be something that he would do, because he has integrity and he's honest, and he's a very vocal advocate for teachers and for students. So just hearing the couple that had called in a little bit ago, and then hearing from Andrew, just even as a student, God, how connected he is to what's going on in the school system, recognizing and understanding that we need someone sitting in that seat who is going to shake things up, and in a way that is going to be in the best interest of our students and our teachers. So he definitely, Shake owns that philosophy, and I just hope that people will really do their research. So I thank you for having this opportunity for people to speak out, because there's so much that has been happening behind the scenes to really taint the school board and taint the school district. And it's really time for someone to be sitting in that seat who can see the needs of District 5 and rally people in the community and other board members together to be able to really tackle the problems that are there. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, and you are spot on. So my question is, like, how are you doing after the escapades, and like, what are you up to now? I know that you posted, on social media, but we never had that opportunity to have that discussion on Teacher for the Culture and let the people know on Teacher for the Culture what was going on. So what's been going on that you're able to share?
You're right. So, what I can share is that God is good. Like, oh my gosh. So, I had not been working since last November. And I spent a very rough 9 months really trying to figure out what to do and trying to maintain hope in Hillsborough County and all the things that would happen. But I have been blessed with promotion. So I actually am now working with the state of Pennsylvania. So I work as a climate and culture specialist across the state of Pennsylvania in school improvement. And I am taking the things that I did in Hillsborough County, and I'm using my influence in over 500 school districts across the state to ensure that our schools are worthy of our kids, to ensure that our schools have a climate and culture that sees marginalized groups of students and really ensures that they have equitable access to education and resources. And so I literally went from a place of influencing a school and being in the district to now influencing across the entire state of Pennsylvania. So it's been quite a whirlwind. And what I can say is that the gifts that I have and the work that I had done spoke for itself, so much so that they created this position for me. It didn't even exist. So they heard what I was doing and they said, hey, we want to create a position for you because we need that work in Pennsylvania. So, yeah.
I love it. I just thank you for coming on here and, sharing your testimony and, letting people know and updating people what's going on. And for those of you that haven't seen the article or haven't seen where, and this was when like I needed to be drastic to get people's attention because nobody wanted to talk about education. Nobody wanted to wake up. So, I had a wig and my stage acting up on the internet just to get people's attention and look at where we're at now. Thank you, Jesus. So
yes.
I will definitely post it in the comments so that people can go back if they haven't seen your story. But just thank you for taking the opportunity just to come on here and let people know, that you still out here thriving. And no matter what happens to you, God will always make a way. And just I appreciate your time and talking about it.
Amen. Absolutely. And again, you all, we need to get behind Shake and we really need to make sure that we get him into that seat because he will do the right thing for kids. There is no doubt about that. So when y'all read this article, know that that is something Shake would never do. And he was definitely instrumental in making sure that I was okay during that time when he heard about my story. So I'm just very grateful for you and for teaching for the culture and really just keeping this conversation at the forefront, because our kids are too important. So even though I'm in Pennsylvania, I'm still virtually fighting for the kids of Hillsborough County, because I spent the last 15 years of my life there pouring into those kids, and they deserve the best. So I thank you.
Well, thank you so much, and I appreciate you, Kimberlyn, and I'll definitely be reaching out to you on some teaching for the culture stuff, but thank you for coming out and sharing your view on this.
For sure. Thanks for the opportunity.
Absolutely. So, there's a comment here, and it says, it's a huge mistake to confuse a quiet, steady, calm person as weak. And that is exactly where I have seen comments on Facebook where they have talked about Shake Washington, and they've had narratives on, well, he's been in the district 42 years. What has he done? These narratives and the way that that's being painted is so disingenuous. Like, education is very complex. And I agree with Tammy on that when she often says it. But what we won't do is we won't talk about 42 years of experience and making it seem as though he has to prove current data. Tammy Schamberger, she's on the board right now. We need to look at her data. We need to look at the actual results. So the question on the floor is for Tammy: why should people re-elect you? Why should people have you in the seat? And, I understand that she was the champion of the reopening plan, and if you disagree, like, I'm not censoring the phone, I'm not censoring the live, come on and let's have a conversation, let's debate it. But, I'm just saying that there's a lot of stuff going on, and I need people to pay attention, and I'm going to just show you some stuff while we wait for more people to call in. So the first thing that I want to show you is about IDEA Public Schools. And the reason why I want to bring this up to your attention is because there's a lot of stuff that is now coming to the light in regards to IDEA Public School, because they are here. They're setting up tables in East Tampa. They are creating and they're trying to get parents' contact information, and they are pushing ads all over on websites and everything else. And they're really out here marketing. And so I want to let people know that, like, there is a whole receipt out here where when IDEA Public Schools was being talked about, the chair at the time, which was Tammy Schamberger, which impacts her district, not only did she not say anything, but she didn't vote on it. So I want to go ahead and I want to play the clip of IDEA Public Schools, and I want you to watch what took place. And I also want you to pay attention to where people are when this is going down. Roll the clip.
Right, so now I just want to tell you a little bit about IDEA Public Schools. They were approved by the State Board of Education as a HOPE operator on March 27th, 2018. They operate 79 schools. Some of this you heard this morning, but they operate 79 schools nationwide. They're currently in Texas and Louisiana, and they have approximately 45,000 students. Their population consists of 95% minority students and 89% free and reduced lunch. They did submit their notice of intent and their 4 performance-based agreements for 4 schools on March 11th, 2019 to Hillsborough County Schools. The district sent a letter to IDEA Public Schools regarding some errors and omissions that they needed to address. And we did that within the 10-day period as required by law, and they did respond within the 10-day period with those omissions. The district negotiated the PBAs with the 4 schools, performance-based agreements, using the standard performance-based agreement form that the DOE created for this process. And we did make some additions as they did. IDEA Public Schools will open 4 schools on 2 campuses. They'll have a grades K-5 school and a 6-12 school on each campus. The persistently low performing schools that they targeted are Robles and Oak Park. Each of the areas where they chose have several other persistently low performing schools also listed in their notice of intent. As was said this morning, they did commit to serving 75% of the students that previously attended or are zoned for a persistently low performing school. And that was something that we negotiated with them. They started out at, I think it was 40%, and we got them to up to 75%. Idea Public Schools has worked with our school district over the last year and a half to try to learn the areas. What area did we want them in? They did at one point want to move to a different area within our district, and we moved them back to the East Tampa area where most of our schools are. And again, I've said this, but tonight marks the 59th day since submittal of their notice of intent and performance-based agreement. And the superintendent is asking the board to approve these performance-based agreements for Idea Public Schools. And just so you know, tonight, I think several of you saw Representative Trey Treviesa here tonight. He will be the board chair for this organization, for this group, Idea Florida, Inc., which is incorporated in the state of Florida on SunBiz. And also Dan Fishman, the vice president of growth with Idea Public Schools, was also here, but had to leave to catch a flight. And if I may say, I've talked with Tricia McManus several times about this because I know it's going to impact schools that she's working very closely with. And Tricia is actually fortunate enough to also be on a professional group with one of the co-founders of Idea Public Schools. So we've been in communication. I think that communication has to stay wide open in order to impact our students the best we can.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Hodgins. I need a motion and a second to approve item C643, the Idea Florida Forest performance-based agreements. I have a motion by Mr. Kona and a second by Ms. Stewart. Any discussion, board members? Ms. Gray?
Thank you, Member Snively. A few questions. When you mentioned the notice of intent, why didn't we have this shared by the board when we first got a notice, when you all got a notice or when you decided to send a notice of intent? I mean, I see that March 11th, this was begun, but you mentioned again notice of intent. When was that done?
The notice of intent was submitted with the performance-based agreements on March 11th, 2019.
March 11th, okay. And when we talk about the performance agreement, why is the chair and I think it was Trey Trevista, why are they on there to be signed? Why would a board member be involved in the paperwork with this particular idea? There is a page 4, there is a space for our chairperson to sign and Trey to sign. I'm just curious.
Well,
it's a document which, yeah.
Well, the performance-based agreement has to be approved by this board, and then the signature would show the executed agreement. So we are always asked to have the board chair of the charter school sign first and bring it to the board. And then after the board votes on it, the board chair normally signs it, and then it's an executed agreement, and then a copy stays with us and a copy goes to the charter school.
Okay, so it's just a formality. It's a normal process.
Yes, ma'am.
So as you can see there, there was discussions that were taking place about Idea Public Schools. Melissa Stively took over that meeting because Tamara Schamberger was away from the dais. Now, obviously, I could only clip so much to fit in the live. So I actually want to go to the receipts of the transcript so that you can actually follow along. And this is why it's important. So this is when they're talking about Idea Public School. Okay, this is the transcript that you can get anytime that they have a board meeting. Just to scroll up so that you can see here. This is the transcript for the meeting on May 7th, 2019 at 4 p.m. Okay. With that being said, I want to go to find, and we're going to go to Idea Public Schools. And then I want to scroll where this is voted on. Okay. So it's a formality, and that's where we left off, right? So Lynn Gray asked another question about the capital outlay. And so Chris Farkas answers that question. Then Jenna answers a question. Lynn Gray asks another question. Jeff Akins responded to some of the commentary. Then Lynn Gray was having a conversation. Then Jim Porter was talking about the legalities of the contract with Idea Public Schools. And then Melissa Snively again is leading this stuff here. I keep going down to any further discussion. Seeing none, board members, please vote when your lights appear. Okay, so they voted, and it was voted unanimously But I also don't see on the record right here that it was voted unanimously with Tamara Schamberger away from the dais. So you probably should start asking questions about this, because she sat silent. She wasn't there. And for those of you that live in District 5, you have seen Idea Public Schools. They're everywhere. Currently, the leadership in Idea Public Schools, there is a legal battle with the CFO and the organization. And so there's a whole legal battle that's happening with Idea Public School. They have been featured in the news for problematic spending, and a whole bunch more. So Louisiana tried to warn us with Idea Public Schools, and it's right here in the Tampa Bay area. Okay, so there is someone that has added on the stream. Let me go ahead and add them here. Hey, how you doing? Hello? Okay. So there's a comment that's here, and it says, I've heard that there's major issues with transparency. Yeah, there's major issues with transparency in this organization. If you definitely go through some archives of what's happening in different states that Idea Public Schools have a location, I will tell you that Tampa doesn't need this. And again, there's more, schools that will be added to this. That we haven't had a conversation about standardized testing and what that's going to look like moving forward, and not just in Hillsborough County, where there's a whole list that they actually lead the lowest performing schools, and most of those low performing schools are in District 5. So when we talk about results, literally 111 schools declined in their progress. So this is in black and white. So it's really important that we are intentional and that we're saving our children, because these organizations do have an issue with transparency. And to the point, Tampa does not need Idea schools. You are absolutely right. They don't. So, I just wanted to bring that up so that people understand that I've been talking about Idea Public Schools for a while now, and they're here. And there's some people that work for Idea Public Schools that are great people. The company itself has its problems politically, but the people who get jobs, they want to serve children. And so I'm not here to knock any of the employees with Idea Public Schools. I know a few of them, but it's just the principle of the matter that this organization has been caught up in so much controversy. And then now we're mixing that controversy into a new city. And now they're in East Tampa that they didn't even want. They did not even want the area if you was listening to the clip. So how will they be serving our children to its best when they didn't even want the area that they are serving? So just some questions that I want you to think about. So the phone line is still open. I'll be on here for a little bit until it's time for Lane Gray and for you guys to ask her questions. So the call-in number is 813-400-3311. Again, if you call in, listen to your phone directly, and please do not try to listen to the stream and listen to you talk. There is a delay, so if you call in, you will be on the air. So there is a question here, or maybe a statement. When Schamberger was chair, she imposed cuts in transparency and availability to the board meetings to the public. That is a problem for all stakeholders. I'm glad that you brought this up. Yes, so there was a time where public comments were not broadcast. That happened under Tamara Schamberger's leadership. And so eventually it was added back on. But of course, there was some discrepancies, and there was some name throwing and throwing rocks and hiding hands, comments and quotes in the public record when that was being discussed. But it happened. And, now people feel like, we get short time, and you have board members that decide that they're only going to give the public 1 minute, but at the end of the day, the public is paying your salary. So if you live in Hillsborough County, you should ask questions and you should demand more from your school board members because they have never been looked at in the way that they have been looked at now. And so accountability starts soon. And I hope that you hold all these elected officials accountable, especially in seats that we need the strongest candidates. And we need all candidates to be, mindful of District 5. So if you're on here and you're a candidate and, you're running for office, you also need to be involved with what District 5 has going on because your job impacts District 5 too, regardless which your elected seat, it's to move children, all children. So Kimberlyn said that is very correct. She started the trend of silencing the public. Yes. If you go to the Hillsborough whistleblower page, which I don't even know what happened to that page, it just really went left all of a sudden. But we're not here for that. But you'll actually see the video of what actually happened between the issue between Ben Green, who was actually running for School Board District 1 that never showed up to any events or anything, and then Tamara Schamberger. That exchange and that recording is on the whistleblowers page, so you can definitely go and search for it. It's definitely something to do and to hear what's been happening. I understand about the reopening of schools and how, she was a strong advocate for that, but also too, there's a lot of things that has also happened that needs to be in the forefront. So the question on the floor is, how can we find ways to strengthen our public schools when it seems idea schools are growing? That is a good question. So, right now, people need to be intentional with making sure that we educate our kids and that we are trying to close the achievement gap as much as possible. The reason why I say that is because the students are still expected to show gains during this pandemic when we have this chaos in public education. NPR News just posted an article about how the enrollment in public schools are declining. Well, when that happens, the funding also declines, which we were underfunded to begin with. So it's something that people need to be really intentional. And so how can we strengthen our public schools? We need to demand better from our leaders and holding them accountable to making sure that they are putting public education first. And I'm all about choice, but we also need to make sure that, our public school is the best choice because it impacts the public and it's taxpayers' money. But it's just, it's sad that our children are expected to make gains, and now we're talking about our kids need to report for e-learning, and they need to report to the school to take their FSA, and it's just awful. And so please pray for your kids and please encourage them during this time because it's rough. It's really rough. Okay, the comment says, we have a few folks who are in full support of charter schools like IDEA. This is why voters have to educate themselves. This trend of defunding, dismantling public education is so sad. Charter schools like IDEA are preying on our most vulnerable populations. You are absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct. And, education is a big business, folks. Like, there is money that is funneled through education. It's how that money is funneled and what it's being used for is the question. And so there's people out here that talk about, we need to have school choice and have yet to say anything about making sure that public education is the best choice since the taxpayers are paying for that system. If you decide to create a private system and it doesn't have to do with my money, then, like my dad always said to me, pay nothing, say nothing. If I don't have to pay anything, I'm not going to say anything. But if I pay a lot, I'm going to say a lot. And so there's just that. Okay, another comment says, Mr. Washington is a class act. Ms. Schamberger is a nasty individual. Look at how she acted at WTMP. This is not how we want our children to act. Now, I might ruffle some feathers with this one, but I'm gonna say it anyway. So the situation with WTMP, how that whole situation went down, the video did not add clarity to what I was told happened by the people that work at the radio station and from the actual victims. So what I was told was that Tamara Schamberger had came up and came early to WTMP in efforts to confront Bishop Patty because she was on the radio talking about Tamara Schamberger. And she had, referring to Tammy, had said something disrespectful to Bishop Michelle B. Patty. They started going back and forth with each other, and Bishop Patty's son started recording. He started recording because she was all in people's face and she didn't have a mask on. But remember that she's a COVID survivor. And so when she was battling with COVID, people was trying to figure out, well, why am I hearing that she's outside, putting up yard signs when she has COVID? Or why is she walking around and don't have a mask on when you've experienced something that you never want to experience again? And so, there's rumors there, and I'm gonna leave that there. But this is what I will say. I will say that people need to be intentional. People need to figure out what's going on. And I'm gonna just tell you that the whole situation was just all wrong. But when you pull up and you try to confront somebody, it's a pattern, y'all. Like, look at what happened with Thaddeus Bullard. This man, literally, all he wanted to do was serve children. Next thing we're hearing stuff about him and what he has on the internet when he was given the SLY and then wanted to bring something back to the board so that she could educate the community that, he didn't pay for everything at SLY, which he never claimed that he did. So it was just a lot going on with that. And I will go back to season 1 because I definitely covered it on Morning Tea and Allegations. But it's a lot. I personally don't want to hear anything from school board member Tamara Schamberger until this particular issue is addressed. And let me put it up on my screen here. Tamara Schamberger had posted on Facebook about, can you tell my opponent it's a crime to take campaign signs? I have video. Stop it. So obviously you're talking about Henry Shake Washington, and you're making an allegation that Henry Shake Washington committed a crime. And if he committed a crime by taking your yard sign and you have a video, then I think that now would be the time for you to publish the video. You have made an accusation on this man and you have said that you have a video. So let's go ahead and bring that video forward. So if Shake Washington is caught on video, doing stuff to your yard signs, let's hold him accountable. But I've just never heard anything like this before. I've never seen anything like this before. And this is why I have such a focus in District 5, because I worked in District 5. So I have a passion for District 5 just because I've worked in it, and advocacy for our children is important. So, there's people that talk about Shake Washington and says, oh, well, what has he done? But I'm just trying to figure out with those same people that are saying that, well, what have you done? Have you volunteered? Are you listed to volunteer at a school? Have you given back to the school? Have you been to, school lately? Or are you just on the internet being, you and probably a paid puppet because there's people that's getting money out here? Why don't y'all check these Form 6 forms? Okay. It's public record. District 5 is just one of the races that has been so sad for me. Like, you've had where signs have been ran over by cars. You have literally videos of people being hurt and cussed out at. You have videos of people cooking chicken next to a cemetery and handing out, food near a cemetery, and people standing underneath the tree with no mask on. Like, this is all on the internet, folks. And this is stuff that if you're not intentional, you don't see it, but it's out there. It's out there. So comment, says, we would never see Shake behaving in such a manner, even when confronted with someone who disagrees. Yeah, I've never heard of Shake being this person. I've always heard positive things about Henry Shake Washington. And so again, you know, it's comment goes, District 5 is my district. It's always been a good God, a hot mess. Yeah, it's been a mess. And, you know, it's sad because our children deserve better. This is a district where systemically our children are suffering. And so people need to be intentional. So I'm thankful for everyone that called in. I'm glad that, you know, people were able to get value out of this broadcast. I do apologize that the candidates were unable to debate today. But, you know, I really hope that everyone is intentional. And I hope that people start paying attention to what's happening and demand change and demand better, because our children deserve better. The comment here is, I've worked in multiple schools and Head Start in District 5. Students, parents, and community need stability and support, not drama. This. Yes. And it's sad that this is here, but I had a reporter from Bay News 9 that was going to moderate this event. But my good man, Trevor, he will be moderating District 7. So I'm getting ready to set up for that for Lynn Gray. And Sally did not want to participate. And it is what it is. I hope that you take this opportunity to know who you should vote for on November 3rd. And I hope that maybe these two candidates will have another opportunity to debate. Maybe, maybe not. I personally wouldn't debate Tammy, because anytime that she goes up there, she lies and throws shots at Shake to say, what has he done for 42 years, but yet cannot answer the question as to why 111 schools decreased in one school year. So your children deserve better. And out of anything, I hope that you learn that this fight for our children is not for the weak. And this fight for children is something real. And I just want to use my platform and use my voice to advocate for what's right. And I was very clear with my position on who I'm rocking with. So y'all know that I'm supporting Henry Shake Washington for School Board District 5. And I want you to be intentional with your vote, because there's people out here that will literally plan to be in political circles. They will plan on being involved in these different ways. We have board members that do not want to answer questions. So with that being said, I'm gone. We're going to set up for District 7. So please stay tuned. Lynn Gray will be live. So I will see y'all soon. I love y'all. Thank y'all for supporting. Thank y'all for being here with this chat. And until next time, peace. Where the video at? I should get that together. Oh, let me play this first, and then I'm gonna play that. All right. Love y'all. Bye.
The question is, if you're not selected for the seat, what will be your plan to continue to move your vision in the community?
Thank you so much for that question. Kind of a trick question. I'm the only candidate tonight that knows this job, that not only knows it, but has executed very well. Because I will be reelected for this seat. There is no other option for our community. In 4 years, I've done well. Again, there's no other option but me. But I will offer this. For my 3 opponents who've been absent in the process for the last 4 years, I've been on this front line by myself fighting. Our students need someone who's tried and true. I already have a plan in place, and we have our students well ahead of the pack already. And I appreciate my opponent like Elvis Pickett for that. Stand with me, support me, continue to fight with me.
This board made an agreement that we could pick 1 or 51 candidates. Ray and Associates have given a false perception, has caused controversy in this community and confusion because of it. So Mr. Porter, I'm asking you, if this is an important process, Ms. Snively.
I understand
On behalf of my
but I am trying to run an orderly meeting, Ms. Schamberger.
I get it.
Okay, and
Let
you
us
are out of
clarify.
order right now.
Well, whatever. So.
Anytime you're an elected official and you can't be held accountable without sending threats, you got a problem. We need someone in that seat that don't mind being held accountable. We are in trouble. It's a disgrace for you to have a chair of a school board that acts that elementary. Shame on her. It shows bad character. It shows no integrity.
I'm the only candidate tonight that knows this job. Again, there's no other option but me. But I will offer this.
Such a embarrassment and disgrace.